Hello, fellow gamers. This is Tim, Sam7 again, and I want to talk a little bit today about a one-shot that I'm going to try to run. I recently picked up BRP, which is basic role-playing, which is kind of like the generic version of the Call of Cthulhu rules, and I've wanted to kind of do something with it ever since I got it. And I started translating a fantasy setting with it, and now I want to try to run my first actual BRP game. And I was thinking of doing some sort of modern post-apocalyptic kind of setting, and just mainly just like a one shot of it. And the idea that I came up with was that about 90% of humanity has been wiped out by some sort of super virus, like the Stand, Captain Trips, that sort of thing. And the thing I was going to do differently was that those that survived, the 10%, seem to have some sort of latent psychic ability, that they have some sort of, special, powers that, for whatever reason, they didn't notice before or weren't able to use before. And I talked to a few people online about it, and they were saying that maybe the lack of non-psychic people in the world might help with that. So basically, there isn't all this dead psychic weight out there, and the only ones that are left, there's no like bad feedback from all these other people that can't use those abilities. So now the only ones that are left have psychic abilities, and there's nothing to hold them back now. The rest of the collective unconsciousness of humanity is no longer there, I guess, clouding the airwaves. I don't know. But the basic idea was, okay, the virus kills a bunch of people. The survivors have some sort of latent psychic abilities. And I was going to go with the whole zombie theme, but I decided against it because that's kind of been done. But I wanted to do something similar. So instead of zombies, I was going to go with animals. Animals have fed off the infected dead, and they're kind of messed up now. They have a sort of rage, a sort of feral hunger about them, and animals like predators or scavengers are now very deadly to humanity. They're kind of like a threat. So things like crows, sort of like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds meets, like the Reavers from Firefly, so something like that. If the Reavers were, wolves, foxes, dogs, stray cats, things like that. It could be a little bit silly, but I'm only going to do it as a one shot. So I figured so they're not really zombie animals, but sort of, and I guess sort of like, kind of like there really wasn't any zombies in 28 Days Later. There was just people that were infected. But anyway, so yeah. So lots of people dead, survivors have psychic abilities, and animals are trying to kill them. And as far as the whys and the wheres, my original thought for why this happened was that the governments of the world got together and sort of like a New World Order kind of thing and released this deadly virus, maybe projecting that 30 to 50% of the population would die, and there'd be less people, so they'd be easier to control. And the idea was that their virus is way more effective than they ever thought possible. And now they're kind of picking up the pieces. And I was maybe going to have some soldiers running around, sort of in, the big puffy suits and gas masks, that sort of thing. Not really sure, though. I still have to figure that out. I'm not really sure how to start the game. Someone suggested having the game start out with all the characters in some sort of fugue state, where they don't really remember what happened, and they're all kind of tore up and, in some part of the city somewhere. I was maybe thinking of having them escape from a hospital or maybe a mental institution. And the mental image I just had was that there's a bunch of blood-soaked crows sitting on the outside, like on the gargoyles on the tops of the buildings, just waiting for any sort of movement, to sort of feed their ravening hunger. A friend of mine also suggested that maybe, as sort of a weird kind of like animal, like side, not side product, but sort of the way the virus works in animals is that those with psychic abilities cause them pain. So when any of the characters show up and in an area where there's animals that have eaten the infected dead, it's just going to cause the already enraged and hungry animals to just go berserk. So I like that. That sounded pretty interesting. And I'm going to run it as a one-shot with basic role-playing. And I was going to use the psychic powers for the characters, and it was suggested to me to use the mutations for the animals. And I thought that was pretty cool, that maybe the virus has sort of changed them or modified them in more violent ways. So that was just another idea I had. Gonna run a one-shot of it here, probably next week, and hopefully I have it figured out by then. Maybe I'll have government soldiers try to kidnap and collect the characters, and hopefully they'll resist, and if they don't resist, maybe they get taken away somewhere else, and then they have to break out of some sort of government collection or prison camp, sort of thing. But I don't know. We'll see. So that's my idea. A post-apocalyptic setting based around a virus. So thanks.